You may not be able to hear that, but that's cuckoo. Okay, there it goes. This is the video series where I pick an OM system camera body and an M.Zuiko lens and I go for a morning walk. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. So thank you for joining me for another morning walk. So today I have chosen my original OM-1 and the M.Zuiko 100-400 f5 to 6.3. I'll just finish up my coffee and we'll get going. There's 3 or 4 fallow deer just ahead of me on the path. Of course, I was walking and talking and they stopped right away, ran into the forest. Oh, some other time. Red start. My favorite bird that you get here in the forest. I just heard it for the first time yesterday. Such an amazing looking bird. And by the way, if you are an OM system user, I have a newsletter where I send out an experience from the field with some tips and those kind of things. So if you want to join me on that, just go to my website. I'll put a link up here in the description below. Just see through binoculars. It's a grebe right down the water's edge. If it dies, I can try and run down. Dive. You may not be able to hear that, but that's cuckoo. Okay, there it goes. Got one. It's a bit far away. There was one closer. But it moved far underwater. I don't know if it would hear me coming. Okay, it's moving further away. So it's time to get up. Yeah, when you're doing this sort of stuff, it's good to use clothes you don't mind getting a bit dirty. Okay, where's my bag? There it is. Easy to get distracted. Now for this kind of place, the birds that are on my wish list are the yellowhammer, linnet and whitethroat. They'll be the big ones. Really nice looking birds and typical of this kind of a bit more open farmlandy habitat, and it would look really good in the gorse. So the settings I'm using here is just f-stop, lowest it can go, but obviously it's a variable lens, so it's 5 if I'm at 100mm and it's 6.3 if I'm at 400. Right now I'm at an ISO of 1600, which gives me a shutter speed of 400. I'm quite happy to use that here. 400 gives me extra, slightly faster shutter speed. It's definitely faster than what I need, but at least then I can get a little bit of, if it moves about, or obviously not if it flies or anything like that, but it can move a little bit. What I often tend to do is once I get a few safe shots, get my ISO down to 800. That's 3 turns of the dial. I'll just do the same for the shutter, 3 turns of the dial. Then I'm a 200th of a second, and I can get more of a even higher quality image. Other than that, I'm using the entire focus grid. I got bird sub-detection AI on, and I have this lever, if you see down here, that changes to a single point focus. So if I struggle to get focus, I put that on. If I still struggle, I turn off the bird AI. Still struggle, I just use manual focus. I use back button focus, and manual focus is always available to me. So that is my kind of shooting mode. If there's enough light later, then I'll bump this over to C3, which is where I got my pro capture, and I might try and get some birds in flight. Right now though, I think it's a bit too dark for that. But so far I haven't gotten a single bird, so I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Right, I'm going to walk a little bit higher. I like to get a bit of height here. Go on. Sit still. Oh yes, it's still in it. Really nice bird. Turn around. A little side turn, that works. As you can see here, this gorse in front of me, I'm using that as a foreground to blur out the gorse below. It moved.
It's been a while since I've used the 100-400. I got a scent a few years back, and I tried it out for a while then, did some reviews on it, and now recently OM System sent me this, so I've been kind of using it every now and then, but since I got the 150-400, I mostly use that. But it's a really nice lens. It's very compact and small, so for this kind of stuff when I'm just walking around, it's a really nice lens to have. Very adaptable. 400mm I can get really close, 800mm equivalent. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Let's go a bit higher. I have to get through this. It's very wet. Wet and muddy. Whenever I walk like this and I balance, I get that Pirates of the Caribbean song in my head. I always feel like they're Jack Sparrows and then they're doing some sort of a balancing thing.
This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. FlexiSpot makes sustainable office and home furniture. I've been using their adjustable standing desk to work from for the last 6 months. I slouch less and I found that I'm much more productive when standing to work. I do make sure to take regular breaks from work and remove myself from everything digital. And this is where the Lotus XC6 swivel chair comes in. This is my analogous space where I go to read, write, and get creative for ideas for videos and photo projects. The Lotus swivels 360 degrees. It's got leg support and the back reclines. You'll also find a storage compartment in the side panel. Check out the FlexiSpot brand day in May 2024 for up to 50% off.
I'm often asked what binoculars I use. I tended to use a pair of Vikings, which are really good. But now I started using these 8x25 WP, and they are really good, and they are so lightweight, and they're quite sturdy, more sturdy than what they look like. They're very bright and nice, and they only weigh 250 grams. So these are my camping and hiking binoculars. but I also use them for stuff like this now because they're just very good and I have enough stuff to carry.
What a nice place this is. And what a nice morning. Look behind. They've come to say hello. Well, come on then.
Got a bird standing very tall over there. Try and move a bit closer. Up against it here. Shoot through the gorse. Still very small in the frame. So as you can see, very small in the frame. Hey buddy. Alright, come a bit higher now. I really want to have a look, see if I can see this willow warbler that's down here. Linnet just landed right over here. Amazing. Really helped to just sit still and wait for a little bit. Got a couple of images. Nothing spectacular, but some nice random shots. Mostly a bit far away. But that's the way it goes sometimes. But it's definitely been really nice to come back here. Just seeing what's about, seeing the linnets, the yellowhammer, all the other songbirds here. So now though, let's just continue with the walk. I'm walking this kind of loop from my house. It takes about an hour to walk it, about 4.5 km. But obviously this was a bit of a detour. But I'll continue around and we'll see if we can't see anything else along that loop. A wren comes and saves the day. Just change my settings here. It's a bit darker in the forest. Down to 13%. I should change batteries as well. Up when it needs charged, down for the full ones. Good to have systems. There's deer right across here. They haven't seen me yet. Put that up here. Amazing. I'm shooting through a fence, but I can't tell. You know, it's completely out of focus. I'm just looking for individuals that are on their own that might just peek through some of these trees. What an amazing experience. Now, just to clarify, these are wild and they are incredibly difficult to approach. They are so wary. This does not happen often. Not here in the forest. Yeah, right now I'm at ISO 1600. I got a shutter speed of 200 at 6.3. And I'm using the cat and dog detection mode, but I've changed it to a single point in the Something else is coming behind me. Oh, they're running. Yeah, it's a runner. It was my neighbor that just ran by, so scared away the deer though. But that's all right. I think I got some nice images there. It was just a really nice experience anyways to see them. And I'm at the last stretch, less than a kilometer back. But there's a nice area where there's a lot of blackthorn flowers have come out. So that could be quite nice if there's anything there. Bumblebee. That would be nice. That's actually one of the things that I'm really hoping for. I can see them now in the blackthorn over here. Those white flowers and a bumblebee in amongst them. That would be really cool. And that'd be great for this lens, you know. The magnification 0.57 is pretty good. Minimum focus distance 1.3 meters, so I can get pretty close. Okay, here we are. It's just really nice. Ooh, blue tit. It's really cool, surrounded in the white. Tried to film it, I flew away immediately. Ah, it was great though. Check that out. Yeah, it's worth looking out for blossoms and, you know, early flowering plants like this. There's a bumblebee up here. Oh, there's a few on here. Excellent. What's really cool about this is it's fun to try and get some nice compositions with the bumblebee, because obviously the bumblebee is going to be a bit small in the frame. So then trying to use the other flowers that are around here to make something work into a nice composition. So a lot of the time here I will just be putting the bumblebee in the middle of the frame because it's difficult to get focus on it. And then I just have to crop a little bit. Now exposure wise, this kind of reminds me of the black grouse, because black grouse has got white tail feathers, and then it's got a black or almost black body. So it's a tricky exposure. And it's the same with this, you know, you see the white flowers here, and the bumblebee has got some black parts to it. So you really want to expose to the right, to get as far as right as you can. So you make it as bright as possible without overexposing the flowers. And the way I do this is I set up my highlight alerts so I can see the flowers. They go red right away if I'm overexposing them. Makes it a lot easier. I do have an OM system for wildlife photography course where I go through all of how I set up my cameras, the different settings that I use for various wildlife, and kind of tips for how I photograph. So I'll put a link to that in the description and in a link above here.
All right, I'm hungry and I'm ready for coffee number 2. So I said back, coffee number 2, breakfast number 2, and I'll see you out here next time. Please keep the comments coming, really appreciate them, and let me know what kind of gear you would like to see, anything you'd like me to focus on. I've already done a video on the OM-1 Mark II with the 150-400, so if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link here and you can check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.